I didn't make it to Maitland Local Court this week to observe cases from the public gallery. But it doesn't mean I'm not interested in what's happening around town. And I'm still interested to hear how the court itself followed the law. So can I find out what happened at my local court here in Maitland without going to court? I will rely on 3 sources of public information. You could essentially do this same exercise. First, the court publishes a list of people who have had cases here. So I know the cases exist. It's just the names, they don't say what the case is about. Second, the police sometimes issue media releases about police activities, such as arresting someone after an investigation into whatever. Third is the media, who sometimes publish stories about cases. We have a local paper here in Maitland, plus there's one in Newcastle, and there are some national publications which can be a good source. Look, I'm okay with an online story, however, I do prefer an old school print story. It feels a bit more official, but I am quite Gen X, so... It's the week starting the 11th of November 2024. So what happened this week at Maitland Local Court? From the court list, it looks like there were about 109 defendants that had criminal cases this week at Maitland. FYI, I'm not looking at the civil cases, only the criminal ones. By the way, at least 50 of the 109 cases involved an AVO. So just so I'm clear, that means that there are at least 50 members of the public outside the courthouse that are seeking a court order to protect them. And that's just for this week's cases. Of these 109 cases, some started this week as it looks like the court dealt with a few fresh custodies. I think those ones are interesting because it shows how the court is handling custody matters, meaning deciding if the person can be at liberty during proceedings or will they have to wait in jail. Most of the cases are just a mention and therefore mostly case management, but some were finalised with a sentence. I'm going to argue that the sentencing is important for us to know about out here to deter us from offending. So what were the cases about? There were no police media releases this week about criminal cases in Maitland. There were no stories in our local paper, which comes out on Friday, and I checked the Newcastle newspaper each day, including Saturday, and there were no stories about these cases either. And I can't find anything on the internet. So I couldn't find out what any of these 109 cases were about. I have no idea about any of the sentences this week, so I'm going to ask the question, how will general deterrence work for these cases? We can't be deterred if we don't hear about what happened inside the courtroom. That's not a critique on policing or journalism. Rather, this is just how our legal system is here in New South Wales.